All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video we are going to talk about members of Terence Crawford's team explaining and exposing Errol Spence Jr., admitting that Al Haymon is the reason that that fight did not take place, and using Errol Spence Jr.'s own words to do it. I'm shocked. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video we're going to be in the 147-pound division once again. It is the end of the year, though. It is the date of this video is December 20th. So as we know, not anything going to be happening really in boxing for the next up until the 7th, when Gervonta Davis fights Hector Garcia in DC to defend his WBA regular title, and a card that has a lot of very, very good fighters on it. Jaron Ennis, Demetrius Andrade, the Peterson brothers. I do believe Jalil Hackett is going to be on that card as well, up and coming prospect. So up until then, there's going to be a lot of talking about what happened last year in the sport of boxing. People are going to be doing award shows, who's the best knockout artist, this, that, and the other thing. However, seeing as there was a fight last weekend where Errol Spence Jr. Was out and about getting asked a lot of questions about the Terence Crawford fight and the future of the Terence Crawford fight, there are some things that occurred that weekend that we're going to talk about. One of them is that someone from Terence Crawford's camp that actually fought on his card said that this is proof that Errol Spence Jr. knows that Al Haymon is the reason that that fight did not happen. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, like my guy Q Lee, like my guy John Boy, and everybody else, thank you so much for supporting the channel like you have this year in the super chats and in the cash apps and in the super thanks of videos like this. Really does mean a lot, helps keep channels like this going with your support. So let's get into this. Errol Spence Jr. was asked a question about who was to blame for the fight between himself and Terence Crawford not happening. Errol Spence Jr. says something to the effect of, now, I do not take people's videos. People always ask me, why don't you show me the video? Why don't you show me the tape? Because I don't own it, okay? So if I don't own it, I'm not going to show you it. I may do it in a short because that's acceptable protocol and people don't mind that being done. But on things that come off of Fight Hype and Fight Hub, things like that, I'm not going to take those guys' material. I'm going to paraphrase it for you. So pretty much what Errol Spence Jr. said was that he's like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. He says, man, hopefully the fight will get happening. Bud had to get his money. I understand Bud getting his money. I'm not going to hate on that. Hopefully we can get to the fight next year, man. But, I don't know. Right now, Steve Nelson, who was on the card for on Terence Crawford's David Avanesian card, said over Twitter that, see, this is how people that know that it's their promoter and that they are under contract and cannot fight because they're under contract by their promoter, this is how they speak. Man, I swear, ain't no good deed goes unpunished in the boxing world. And I mean this, I don't care if it's YouTube, I don't care if it is in a boxing ring. It just seems like that adage that no good deed will go unpunished, it's just a truism, man. Because what Errol says is, man, I don't know. Now, if you look at what he was doing, right, and you look at the number of interviews that he gave out, you will notice that most of these interviews occur, or many of these interviews occur, in him coming off of an elevator and going through, trying to go through a crowd, down some escalators, right, where a bunch of people are pouring questions at him, right? So this is obviously after the fight. The man has answered a million questions, and it seems as if the man is just trying to be, he's not trying to throw Terence Crawford under the bus. Then he's not trying to say, okay, yeah, oh, well, we know why the fight didn't take place. Well, he actually said he did know why the fight didn't take place. It's because Terence Crawford pulled out of the fight. And he said, look, man, if what he's saying is true, he didn't do what I do, right? Which is say, man, I don't believe no $10 million on that, man. Do not believe it. Errol says, hey, man, the man said he gets $10 million. If you get $10 million, I can understand you going to get your money real quick, but it's about how you did it. Just let us know that you're pulling out of the fight, and that you're going to go do something else. I'll go do something else, and man, we can spin the block and do it again. But somehow people contort what the man said, I don't know, to some admission of guilt for Al Haymon. Now, for me, and I've said this not just about this particular situation, I've said it about many situations, that Al Haymon is obviously a very, very gifted executive, and he is a very successful executive, right? He's done a lot of very, very good things in boxing. However, because he does not speak to the media, you know, he has a good thing and a bad thing to that. Number one, you really can never put a finger on him and what he does. Second of all, that's the good thing for him. He stays out of the media. He's doing individual business deals. He's trying to get stuff done with people, and it seems like he's just really focused in that regard. But by not being on the camera and doing an Eddie Hearn act, or even a lesser version of Eddie Hearn, which is Bob Arum, it allows people to run wild with their speculations about what he's doing. Right? And so what you wind up having is Al is the number one go-to excuse. Al Haymon, excuse me, I don't know him, shouldn't be calling him by his first name. Al Haymon is the easiest target and the easiest excuse to blame for not making a fight. Even though when you hear people that actually have worked with them and say that they've worked with them, they say, man, this guy is very, very easy to deal with. Bob Arum used to say, talk about Al Haymon and not making fights with Al Haymon until he worked with Al Haymon. And he made a series of fights with Al Haymon. And then he was like, hold on, man, no, this guy is actually very, very easy to work with. We got stuff done, very, very reasonable, right? In what scenario did they work with Al Haymon? He worked with Al Haymon in a scenario where his fighter, Tyson Fury, was the favorite to beat Al Haymon's fighter. And as long as Deontay Wilder wanted to make the fight, Al Haymon went out and made the fight. And it was a fight that wasn't even, I don't think, as financially as lucrative as the fight with Errol and Terence could be. The only difference was Tyson Fury brought a promoter in that also invested in this, at least in the second fight, and that Tyson Fury was reasonable in his negotiations for the first fight. And that's something that they were able to get and negotiate between themselves and get the fight done. And however, if you find in this particular situation that you have Terence doing, and I'm not going to go through it, all kind of different stuff where you could question whether or not he was really trying to make the fight. Anyway, man, it's a nice and easy cop-out to blame somebody that you've never heard speak before. And that leap that they made between what Errol Spence Jr. said and this is what you say when your promoter won't let you take the fight. God dog, really? Well, what about a guy that literally says, I don't want the fight, I'm past the fight? What kind of guy is that? Is that a guy? That's a guy that, if that is the case, then that's just a guy that just doesn't want the fight. But anyway, man, it is what it is, man. This subject's going to be winding down. Hopefully we'll get to know who these guys are going to fight next relatively soon so we can talk about that in real fights, not things that we don't want to see, but things we actually do want to see. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.